They're gonna bury us in this fucking pit. No way the hell out. Captain Martinez's voice cracked through the radio static as automatic fire shredded the jungle canopy above Bravo team. The SEAL squad was pinned in a ravine, surrounded by cartel fighters who knew every tree, every shadow. The command center at Forward Operating Base Thunder Ridge hummed with control panic. 6 operators worked their stations, calling every available asset within a 120-mile radius. Nothing. The storm had grounded helicopters and made drone coverage impossible. On the main screen, blue dots representing Bravo team clustered in a narrow ravine, while red markers multiplied around them like a virus. Zara Morgan had worked logistics at Thunder Ridge for 9 months. The operators called her a mouse. Quiet, forgettable, shrinking into corners whenever the door kickers walked by. At 30, she was nobody in every way that mattered in a combat zone. Tonight was different. As radio chatter grew desperate, Zara's fingers moved to the locked drawer sheet installed on her first day. The other operators didn't notice, too focused on the impossible math of 35 cartel fighters versus 6 SEALs with limited ammunition and no air support. Bravo 6, this is Thunder Ridge. We're working on options. Can you hold position? Negative. Martinez's voice came back strained. They've got us pinned from 3 sides. RPGs incoming. The explosion rattled through the speakers, followed by screaming and more gunfire. Zara's hand paused on the drawer handle. She pulled the drawer open. Inside lay a rifle case unlike anything in the standard armory. Black polymer with biometric locks, unmarked except for a small etching of a coiled serpent. Beneath it, a ghillie suit modified in ways no manual taught. Colonel Blake walked into the command center just as Zara lifted the case onto her desk. He stopped mid-stride, coffee mug frozen halfway to his lips. Their eyes met across the room. 4 years of shared secrets, of careful misdirection, of a fiction maintained for reasons that went higher than either of them could touch. Blake's expression shifted through surprise, concern, and finally grim acceptance. He gave the slightest nod. "I'll handle the questions," he said quietly. "You handle the problem." Zara was already moving, heading for the door with the rifle case and ghillie suit. As she passed, a younger operator glanced up. "Where's Mouse going with that gear?" Blake's voice was flat. "Getting some air. Storm's making everyone twitchy." The operator missed the small tattoo that peeked from under Zara's rolled sleeve. A serpent coiled and ready to strike. Outside, the Honduran night was thick with humidity and violence. Rain hammered down in sheets. Zara moved through it like she'd been born to darkness, her movements economical and precise. At the jungle edge, she assembled her rifle with movements so practiced they were meditation. Each component clicked into place with Swiss precision. Bravo 6, this is Thunder Ridge. Still working on those options. ETA, unknown. Martinez's response was more gunfire than words. "We don't have unknown. They're moving to flank. Where's our fucking help? How can you see that? We've got night vision and can't see shit through this weather." Zara ignored the question. Through her scope, the jungle revealed its secrets and gradients of heat. The cartel fighters moved well, disciplined spacing, overlapping fields of fire, using terrain like men who'd grown up in these mountains. But discipline meant patterns, and patterns meant prediction. "Mark," she said. Bravo team opened up with suppressing fire, forcing the flanking element to take cover. In that moment of transition, when movement stopped and positions were revealed, Zara went to work. 7 shots in 9 seconds. 7 heat signatures cooling in the rain. The surviving cartel fighters scrambled for cover. Their careful approach dissolved into chaos. "Jesus Christ," someone whispered over the radio. The thing about being dead was that it freed you from certain limitations. Zara Morgan, the logistics clerk, had to follow rules, had to be nobody. But the woman in the ghillie suit, the one whose file had been burned 4 years ago in Langley, she had no such constraints. She was a ghost, and ghosts could do impossible things. "New contact. Southwest," she reported, counting 45 plus. "They're bringing RPGs." 45. Martinez's voice cracked. "We can't hold against 45. You won't have to. Maintain position and keep your heads down. This is about to get loud." Through her thermal scope, Zara studied the approaching force. These weren't jungle thugs with AKs. The way they moved, the hand signals she caught glimpses of, this was a trained unit. There, heat signature holding back, directing others forward, radio antenna extending from his pack. The shot would be difficult, 1,650 meters through dense foliage with crosswinds gusting to 35 knots. Indeed. Tell me, do they still teach the walking technique at Benning, or have you learned that some are more exclusive? Zara's jaw tightened. He was fishing the right pond. She keyed her mic to Bravo frequency. Move now, northeast to the rocks. Through her scope, she watched the seals break cover, bounding in pairs. Professional, smooth, but exposed for 18 seconds of open ground. More than enough time for a good shooter. The muzzle flash came from the east, exactly where she'd expected. Zara was already squeezed on the trigger, sending her round to intercept. Not the shooter, the bullet. A 1-in-a-million shot, deflecting one round with another. Her bullet caught his 3 feet from Jackson's head, both rounds spinning off into darkness. Madre de Dios. Valdemar breathed over the radio. You didn't just... That's impossible. Bravo team, hold position, Zara ordered, already moving. The game had changed. Valdemar wasn't just good. He was apex predator good. Tell me your name, Valdemar said. Professional courtesy. I am Marcus Valdemar, formerly of the Grupo Aeromovil de Fuerzas Especiales. And you? Zara considered lying, but lies were for people who planned to live through their secrets. Once upon a time, they called me Serpent. The silence that followed was profound. Even the jungle seemed to hold its breath. When Valdemar spoke again, his voice had lost its playful edge. No, Serpent died in Operation Black Venom. Yemen, 4 years ago. The CIA confirmed it. The CIA confirms a lot of things. Doesn't make them true. Prove it. The real Serpent had a signature. Show me. Zara smiled grimly. Through her scope, she identified 6 targets spread across a 400-meter arc. In training, they called it the Serpent Strike. 6 shots in 6 seconds, each from a different firing position, creating the illusion of multiple shooters. She took a breath, held it, and became the weapon. The first shot caught a cartel soldier advancing on Bravo's left flank. Before the brass hit the ground, Zara was moving to her second point. Shot 2 dropped a machine gunner. She rolled, acquired target 3, put him down before his partner realized what was happening. 12-meter sprint to position 4. Shot 4 took the partner's center mass. Without pausing, she pivoted 50 degrees, found the 5th target trying to radio for help, and ended his transmission. The 6th shot caught a spotter with binoculars. 6 shots, 6 kills, 6 seconds. The jungle fell silent except for rain and ragged breathing of terrified men. Dios mío, Valdemar's voice was reverent. It really is you. Lava Bora herself. But how? Your entire unit was killed in Yemen. The building collapsed. Reports can be edited. Zara cut him off. Bodies can be misidentified. Sometimes people need to die, so they can do what needs to be done without congressional oversight. She found him in her thermal, a ghost of heat moving through the canopy 400 meters from Bravo's position. He was good, but the rain had cooled the branches. His body heat stood out like a beacon. The CIA killed you to make you a better weapon, he said, understanding. Black operations, wet work, the kind of missions that don't exist. They'll keep coming. Let them. I'll be waiting. She stepped back, melting into shadows. Northeast, 25 meters from your position. There's a medical cache under the rocks that look like a skull. I put it there 9 months ago. You've been here that long. I've been everywhere that long. Goodbye, Marcus. Don't make me kill you twice. She cut the connection and turned attention to the approaching force. 45 men, heavily armed, confident in their numbers. They'd spread into classic assault formation. Textbook tactics that would work against most opponents. Zara wasn't most opponents. She began with their communications, putting precision shots through every visible radio antenna. Without coordination, 45 men became 5 groups of 9. Then she went for heavy weapons, RPG carriers first, then machine gun teams. Each shot placed a wound, not kill. Wounded men screamed. Screaming men destroyed morale. Jesus Christ, Martinez whispered over the radio. She's taking them apart. Sir, Jackson's voice was awed. The shot patterns. I've seen these before. Operation Black Venom, the classified footage. She's dead. Martinez cut him off. The whole unit died in Yemen. Dead people make the best ghosts. Captain, Zara's voice was steady despite exhaustion. Your extraction window is opening. Northeast following the ravine. Move now while they're confused. Who are you? Martinez demanded. Really? Who the fuck are you? Zara put a round through another radio operator before answering. 4 years ago, the CIA needed someone who could operate where American soldiers couldn't go. They found 9 of us, all women, all with unique skill sets. They called us the Serpent Unit. She displaced again. The mission in Yemen was supposed to be simple. Eliminate a terrorist cell planning attacks on American soil. But it was a trap. My unit was ambushed. The building was rigged to collapse. 8 good women died that day. But not you. Martinez's voice had lost all its earlier contempt. Not me. I was providing overwatch. Saw it happen. Couldn't stop it. The CIA decided it was cleaner to report me dead too. They gave me a new identity, new mission parameters. Become nobody. Go nowhere. Be everywhere. The remaining cartel fighters were in full retreat now, dragging wounded comrades, abandoning weapons. Zara let them go. The message would spread. These mountains were protected by something that killed from the darkness. Serpent, Martinez said slowly. Holy shit, you're really her. The ghost sniper. Stories are all that's left of us, Captain. Now move. Your ride will be here in 6 minutes. The distant thrum of rotors answered his question. Despite the weather, helicopters were inbound. Colonel Blake had called in favors. She watched through her scope as Bravo team moved out. They'd make it. Mission complete. Serpent. The voice came from directly behind her. Zara froze. 4 meters, elevated position, no cover. Hands where I can see them, rifle on the ground. She complied, turning to face 3 men in unmarked uniforms. CIA Security Division, the ones who cleaned up messes. The leader was young, late 20s. Ma'am, we're here to bring you in. Langley has questions about your activities. I'm sure they do. Zara kept her voice calm. Someone noticed the ammunition discrepancies? You've been operating without authorization for 4 years. That ends tonight. Does it? Zara smiled. Tell me, Agent, what's your name? Williams, she said, reading his micro-expressions. Daniel Williams. Georgetown graduate. This is your first hot extraction, isn't it? Williams' grip tightened. Ow! Outside, Bravo team prepared for another mission. Martinez had requested this specific FOB, claiming it had the best logistic support. The real reason was unspoken, but understood. They wanted their guardian angel nearby. A knock interrupted her typing. Gomain. Colonel Blake entered, closing the door. He looked older, the weight of secrets adding lines to his face. Any problems with Langley? Nothing I couldn't handle. Helps that Bravo team's after-action report was specific about the assistance they received. Blake set a folder on her desk, which is why I thought you should see this. Zara opened the folder, finding satellite imagery of a compound in Nicaragua. Armed guards, fortified positions, and in the center, a building that made her blood run cold. She'd seen its twin in Yemen. Same architect, Blake said quietly. Same design. Same organization. That killed my sisters. Zara's voice was flat. When? 3 weeks. Delta Team is primary, but they've requested Overwatch support. Specifically, they've requested you. Zara stared at the images. For years of being nobody, of accepting the fiction of her death. For years of safety purchased with silence. But safety had never been the point. She reached into her drawer. Inside, next to the rifle case, lay 8 photos. 8 women who trusted her to keep them alive. 8 ghosts who deserve justice. Tell Delta I'll be there, she said. But I go in dark. No records, no oversight, no acknowledgement. An alarm klaxon cut through her words. All units, we have troops in contact. Grid reference 89 Charlie. Immediate assistance requested. Zara was already moving, grabbing the rifle case. She paused to look back at Blake. 14 hours. Have Delta Team ready in 14 hours. Where are you going? Zara smiled. For just a moment, Blake saw not the quiet logistics clerk, but the predator she'd always been. Someone needs help. That's what ghosts do, Colonel. We answer when no one else can. She vanished into the Honduran night, leaving Blake alone with photos of 8 dead women and satellite images of a building that might hold answers. Outside, the jungle waited, dark and full of secrets. Some legends never die. They just wait for the next call in the darkness, the next impossible shot, the next chance to balance the scales. And in the shadows between life and death, between fiction and truth, Serpent endured.